They say modern cars are smarter than ever, but they're also breaking down faster than ever. From luxury brands that collapse under pressure to electric vehicles that become junk after a minor crash, European repair shops are seeing horrors no one talks about. Here are 15 vehicle nightmares mechanics are tired of fixing. And number 1, let's talk about electric vehicles and their hidden repair nightmares. While many drivers love the idea of going electric, the reality of fixing an EV after an accident can be shocking, literally and financially. Repairing an electric vehicle costs 29 to 35% more than fixing a normal petrol or diesel car. A big reason for this is the battery. It's not just expensive to replace, it's also extremely sensitive. A 2023 GDV study showed that even minor crashes often lead to write-offs because battery packs are treated as unsafe once airbags go off, even if the damage is just cosmetic. In some models like the Hyundai Kona EV, a new battery can cost around 18,000 euros, while fixing a regular engine might only cost 4,500 euros. That is a massive gap. And then there's the fire risk. German workshops isolate damaged EVs for 72 hours after a crash. In the UK, 14% of EVs involved in accidents are submerged in water tanks as a safety measure, making them completely unusable afterwards. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Moving to number 2, Mercedes and BMW aren't off the hook either. Their high-end suspension systems might feel smooth on the road, but they're rough on your wallet. Mercedes' AirMatic suspension system tends to break down 40% faster than standard setups. Nearly 38% of E-Class and S-Class owners end up paying between 2,400 euros and 3,500 euros to fix their axles before they even hit 100,000 kilometers. Over at BMW, the X5's control arms struggle too, lasting just 80,000 kilometers on rough European roads, 30% below what's considered normal. Replacing those arms cost around 1,800 euros each time. Independent mechanics have noticed that almost 22% of luxury SUV suspensions fail during the warranty period. It turns out, sporty suspension might be fun for smooth highways, but completely fails in tight European city streets filled with potholes and uneven curbs. Next, at number 3, we have a rising cost problem tied to ADAS and aluminium body panels. ADAS, or Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, are great for safety, but terrible for your bank account when they need fixing. Today, just recalibrating these systems takes up 25% of the total collision repair costs, adding anywhere from 300 to 600 euros per claim. It gets worse with aluminium bodywork, especially in electric cars. For example, if you need to fix the door of a Fiat 500e, expect to pay around 1,100 euros. That's nearly 3 times what you'd pay for the same job on a steel-bodied version. The costs go up because aluminium requires special welding methods and extra steps to prevent corrosion, with German labor rates jumping 9% in 2024 and certified EV repair technicians charging 120 euros an hour. It's no wonder Europe's collision repair market has exploded to 17.5 billion euros. Now, at number 4, we come to a hidden issue inside many Euro 6 diesel engines: timing chain degradation. Volkswagen's popular 2.0 TDI E8 288 engine has shown signs of early wear, with timing chains stretching 12 to 15% before reaching 120,000 kilometers. That's according to 2024 ACEA wear tests. These chains are critical, and when they stretch or loosen, they cause major engine problems. One test, CEC L-99-08, found excessive camshaft wear in 80% of engines, leading to huge repair bills between 3,500 and 4,800 euros. The job includes realigning the crankshaft, which is both time-consuming and expensive. Mechanics in Spain have also seen a 140% rise in engine failures caused by worn chain tensioners, especially after ACEA changed engine oil standards back in 2021. And then, at number 5, a tiny gasket is causing huge disasters as some of Europe's most common cars. Vehicles built on the MQB platform, like the VW Passat and Audi A3, have a problem with oil filter gaskets. These filters have dual seals, and when they're installed correctly, they can trigger total engine failure. A 2023 compliance test called CEC L-117-20 discovered that 1 in every 14 filters had been fitted wrong. Meanwhile, 2024 Italian MOT reports linked 1,441 cases to aftermarket gaskets that expanded too much, breaking past ACEA's 3% limit for cylinder bore polishing. When that happens, engine bearings wear out fast. Fixing that kind of damage, like in a 2024 case with a Passat B8 in Marseille, can cost between 4,200 and 5,800 euros just to replace the conrod bearings alone. At number 6, things heat up. Literally, BMW's N63 TU3 V8 engine has a serious problem with thermal runaway. Around 26% of its coolant pumps fail before hitting 80,000 kilometers. This is directly linked to the latest ACEA aeration standards introduced in 2023. The situation gets worse in Belgium, where 19% of these engines hit oil temperatures over 115 degrees Celsius, which ends up warping the timing covers. The repair costs for this can be brutal, ranging from 3,900 to 4,500 euros. Because of this, the new 2024 ACEA A7/B7 standards now include much stricter rules on thermal stability, 25% tighter than before. That's a direct response to a massive 210% spike in UK warranty claims. Next, at number 7, we head to the coast, where the sea air does more damage than you think. In Northern Europe, saltwater exposure speeds up rust and corrosion by about 18% compared to inland areas. In Norway alone, workshops replace nearly 11,000 subframes each year, mostly on Volvo and Volkswagen cars. This issue isn't new. The EU's MUST project from 2010 to 2012 worked on smart nanocoatings that could release protective chemicals when the metal gets too hot or acidic. But even now, those coatings aren't widely used. According to the World Corrosion Organization's 2024 report, preventable rust damage across the EU costs a shocking 2.3 billion euros every year, with 63% of it happening in seaside climates. Still, there's hope. The market for anti-corrosion coatings is growing fast, up by 8.4% annually through 2030, especially as manufacturers turn to water-based options to stay within REACH environmental rules. Then at number 8, we talk about a suspension issue that's hitting luxury cars hard. Mercedes-Benz S-Class vehicles are showing a 35% failure rate in their AirMatic suspension systems once they pass 100,000 kilometers. The cost to fix is no joke, between 3,000 and 4,200 euros per repair. The main problem comes from the polyurethane airlines, which become brittle over time, especially when exposed to road salt in winter. What's even more frustrating is that 40% of these suspension repairs fail again within 3 years. Across Germany, luxury cars like these only make up 12% of vehicles, yet they account for 29% of all repair bills over 2,500 euros. That's a big price to pay for riding in comfort. At number 9, the incoming Euro 7 emissions rules are already creating a storm for workshops and car owners alike. Diesel vans will need retrofits that cost an average of 11,707 euros, 4 times more than what the EU Commission first estimated. Each vehicle upgrade takes about 18 hours of labor just for the new particulate filters. On top of that, a lot of body shops in Italy aren't ready for the new paint requirements. Over 60% of them don't have the special boots needed to use water-based paint, which costs between 85,000 and 120,000 euros to install. In France, the new eco-tax adds another 120 to 450 euros per repair. This hits rural workshops especially hard, where nearly half are barely breaking even. At the 2024 summit of the European Federation of Corrosion, experts pushed hard for 220 million euros in subsidies to help small repair businesses upgrade their tools and facilities. Next, at number 10, we revisit a scandal that still haunts the European car industry, the fallout from Dieselgate. It's been a full decade since the Volkswagen Group got caught using software to cheat emissions tests. Between 2009 and 2019, they sold 53 million Euro 5 and Euro 6 diesel cars in Europe that secretly emitted nitrogen oxides at levels 4 to 9 times above legal limits during real-world driving. Even though the EU court ordered recalls in 2023, only 19 million of those cars are still on the road as of 2025. But they're still causing harm. Experts estimate around 10,000 early deaths each year from diesel-related air pollution. What's worse, independent repair shops have found that nearly half of Audi Q5s and VW Tiguans from 2014 to 2018 still have dodgy emission software that wasn't properly fixed. Because of all this, diesel's reputation has taken a major hit. At number 11, we have the dealership upselling tactics that continue to drain money from European drivers. According to a 2024 EU Commission audit, a staggering 73% of franchise dealerships recommended services that weren't actually needed during basic maintenance. These extras inflated the final bill by anywhere from 180 to 650 euros on each visit. One standout example came from Germany, where Mercedes-Benz dealerships were charging between 1,200 and 1,800 euros for AdBlue system flushes on 2019 Sprinter vans, even though the procedure isn't mentioned in any official maintenance manual. Even though EU Directive 2023/487 now requires workshops to give itemized repair estimates, 55% of garages in Spain and Poland are still sneaking in unnecessary services. One common add-on is the so-called fuel injector optimization, which can cost an extra 120 to 250 euros during a simple oil change. The European Right to Repair Coalition has calculated that these practices are costing drivers a total of 2.3 billion euros a year. In response, the EU's 2025 mobility package is capping diagnostic fees at 45 euros per hour for vehicles still under warranty. At number 12, insurance companies are still playing a big role in limiting how cars get repaired. In 2024, 62% of workshops in Spain said their profit margins dropped below 8%, mostly because big insurers like Allianz and Generali forced labor costs down to 48 euros per hour. That's 32% less than what independent garages usually charge. The problem gets worse for electric cars. BEV repairs cost about 25.5% more than work on regular petrol or diesel vehicles, and some insurance companies are refusing to cover those repairs. In fact, 14% of claims for Tesla Model 3 battery damage were rejected, even though the batteries could still be fixed. A new law, the 2024 EU Motor Insurance Directive, was supposed to protect drivers. It bans insurers from using depreciation factors on cars less than 5 years old, and it requires safety-critical parts to be OEM equivalent. But 41% of insurers still insist on cheaper aftermarket parts, including windshields and brake pads. This has led to a massive legal battle involving 18 EU countries. Italy's IVASS watchdog has already fined insurers 26 million euros just in the first quarter of 2025 for breaking the rules. Next, to number 13, diagnostic technology is creating a new kind of problem. Thanks to Euro 7 regulations, which go into effect in July 2025, cars now have to track emissions in real time using 14 new types of sensors. These include high-tech gadgets like ammonia slip detectors and nanoparticle counters. Take the 2024 BMW 5 Series, for example. It now needs a 4.5-hour software recalibration after even basic parts are replaced. That's more than double the time required under older Euro 6 rules. For independent garages, staying in the game is becoming too expensive. To access diagnostic software for brands like FCA and Volkswagen Group, they have to pay between 4,300 and 5,800 euros every year per manufacturer. On top of that, they must pay 1,200 euros annually for AutoAuth Security Gateway certification just to stay compliant in the EU. This makes it 37% more expensive for independents to offer the same service as official dealers. At number 14, turbochargers are becoming another major headache. Many modern engines, especially those using direct fuel injection like Mercedes-Benz's M139 and AMG 45 models, are building up carbon inside those turbocharger systems. In fact, tests show 2.8 millimeters of carbon deposits form every 25,000 kilometers. To clean that out, drivers need a worn-up blasting service that costs around 600 euros. Mechanics in Munich have reported that by the time these engines hit 90,000 kilometers, 31% of them have already lost at least 15% of their original power. That's enough to fail the Euro 7 emission standards, which require durability over 100,000 kilometers. The issue has led to a 40% increase in turbocharger replacements since 2023, with the cost of a replacement Borg-Warner CHRA unit now at 1,850 euros, almost 50% more than similar units from Japan. Finally, at number 15, urban driving is quietly destroying suspensions across Europe. London's expansion of its ultra-low emission zone, or ULEZ, has made the problem worse, especially for black cabs. These vehicles are racking up an average of 1,450 euros a year in suspension-related repairs, mainly from damage caused by potholes. In the UK, 41% of BMW X5s had their front thrust bushings fail by 53,000 kilometers, 3 times the failure rate of Toyota Land Cruisers. The EU's 2025 Road Infrastructure Directive has set aside 3.9 billion euros for fixing pavement issues, but road crews simply can't keep up. In Kent County, for example, the average wait time for road repairs is a shocking 657 days. As a result, 28% of local drivers are forced to replace worn-out suspension parts long before they should.